it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours worth of work, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, on today's show, Business Strategy Tuesday, my guest is going to discuss with us the power of hosting events that boost your authority and position in your marketplace. Now, just fresh off a fitness business intensive event that he hosted in New York City, my guest and his business partner were able to attract not only a group of paying attendees, but 10 widely recognized experts in their field to speak at his event as well. Now, Roz Slaughter is known in the fitness industry as Coach Roz the Motivator. His story of rising from nothing and limiting circumstances to become a leading expert and fitness coach and business mentor shows that your past does not equal your future. He's an accomplished author, speaker, and podcast host. Roz is the proud creator of MetaBurn Fitness brand and FitnessBusinessMastery.com, his coaching and consulting website for personal trainers, bootcamp owners, and fitness professionals who want to learn how to grow and scale their businesses with a lot less stress. Now, Roz helps fitness professionals by teaching them how to specialize their business, sell more with less stress, and systemize every process within the business so it runs with ease. He does this by implementing a done-for-you service for marketing and has created a mastermind where he helps his members fix the leaks in their business and installs the done-for-you system to help them grow their business as well. Now, as I was introduced to Roz through a mutual friend, and just talking with him, I felt this guy's passion and energy. It's really infectious. So when we started discussing what he was currently doing, it was then that I thought to myself, this is a guy that I need to have on the show. Now, like many entrepreneurs, authors, experts, and speakers, Coach Roz is using the power of hosting live events as a way to grow his exposure, his brand, and his authority in his marketplace. Now, it's a great way to spend some time with prospects where you have ample time to get them to know you, to like you, and to trust you. Now, from the event, Roz is looking to add people to his mastermind program where he and his partner work with other fitness professionals and help them build and grow their business. Now, you want to pay close attention to how Roz used and implemented the strategy as it works for any business in any niche. Now, this isn't something that's specific to fitness. Now, I'm sure each and every one of us have gone to a weekend event with guest speakers, and we had the ability to buy a product or service or get into coaching or a mastermind group. That's typically the seminar industry. But what does it take to hold a successful weekend event? What can someone expect just starting out? And how do you get people into the room, and how do you structure the event? And how do you get people to buy into what you're selling? Now, those are all great questions I'm going to ask Roz when I come back. So don't go away, because when I return, I'm going to be joined by today's special guest, Coach Roz Slaughter, the Motivator. Hey, and thanks for joining us today on the Business Strategy Tuesday, where we talk about various business strategies you can incorporate into your business to really accelerate your authority. Now, for most of us, we've been to numerous weekend events that are designed to educate us and give us the opportunity to take the next step in our life or our business, whatever the topic of the event is about. Now, when done properly, these seminars can be very impactful, both on the attendees and on the hosts of the event. They typically serve two purposes. First is to increase your brand, your business, and to accelerate your authority by delivering tremendous value to your guests. Now, the second is typically to get people to purchase or enroll into other products or services that you offer, like a done-for-you system or coaching or masterminds. Now, my guest today is fresh off his fitness business intensive event he held in New York and has agreed to share with us an inside look at what it took to put it together and how it has helped his business and grow his authority in the fitness industry. Now, Roz Slaughter is known in the fitness industry as Coach Roz the Motivator. His story is of rising from nothing and limiting circumstances to becoming a leading expert in fitness coach and business mentor. And it shows that your past does not equal your future. Man, I messed that one up. He's an accomplished author, speaker, and podcast host. Roz helps fitness professionals by teaching them how to specialize in their business, sell more with less stress, and systemize every process within the business so it runs with ease. And he does this by implementing a done-for-you service for marketing and created a mastermind where he helps his members fix the leaks in their business and installs the done-for-you systems to help them in their business as well. So please give it up with likes, loves, shares, and a flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for our guest today, Coach Roz Slaughter, the Motivator. You sound like a wrestling name.
Well, I did wrestle in high school and college, John, but I can tell you that the last name Slaughter, you wouldn't be the first to ever say that, Sergeant Slaughter or something like that.
Exactly. So how you doing today, Roz?
I'm doing fantastic, John. How about yourself?
I'm doing extremely well. So, you guys held the Fitness Boot Camp Intensive, an FBI event. And I know you guys weren't recruiting for the FBI, but you guys are fresh off that, and hopefully it was great success.
Absolutely. It was an amazing experience. I mean, just putting the entire event together in 9 weeks, less than 9 weeks, and being able to actually deliver a top-notch weekend for some fitness professionals who flew in from all over the country to be there with us. We were able to deliver a great time, and we made some great connections as well.
Excellent. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into what it actually took to put that together. But before we get started, what I like to do on the show is a speed round of questions. Basically, there's 10 questions that I like to ask that typically is going to give the audience a little bit more understanding and get to know you a little bit more. It's nothing that you had to study for, so don't worry. You're not going to be tested or graded on this. And as always, I'd like everyone to play along at home, so please answer along with Roz by entering your answers to the questions in the comments. And make sure that you love, and share this video with all the people on Facebook as well. So are you all set, Roz?
Absolutely. Bring them on.
All right, so name the book that impacted your life the most.
Think and Grow Rich.
That's one of the most common. The two most common books are Think and Grow Rich and the Bible.
And the Bible, yes.
So when you were a young boy, who was your celebrity crush?
Alyssa Milano.
Wow, excellent. What's the book, podcast, or show that you're into right now?
Ask Gary V.
Excellent. I actually just watched episode 232 of the Ask Gary V today.
Absolutely.
Excellent show. Do you currently work with any coaches?
Yes, I'm working with, I have a couple coaches that I'm very good friends with, but one that I'm working with, Taki Moore.
Okay. And what's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time is a wrestling movie. It's called Vision Quest, and it was an amazing movie about a guy who had to go from triumph to hero and beat his nemesis.
Excellent. That sounds actually really interesting. Are you currently involved in any masterminds other than your own?
Yes, Black Belt, which is by Taki Moore, is an amazing. It's for coaches, and we love it. I mean, it's just been a tremendous group to be a part of.
Great. So name a person that's either dead or alive who you'd most like to meet and have dinner with.
Muhammad Ali.
What's your favorite type of vacation, beach or adventure tour?
Straight up beach and drinks with umbrellas.
Nice. Man after my own heart. What's the best business advice that you ever received?
The best business advice I've ever received was just be yourself and make sure that you do what makes you happy.
And the last question, it's a two-parter. What's your favorite? Not what you consume all the time, but what's your favorite? Is it water, beer, or wine? And pizza, wings, or salad?
I have to say I'm more of a Scotch guy.
Okay.
So Johnny Black, and definitely probably salads over wings, definitely.
Okay. So Roz, can you just give the viewers sort of a 2 to 3 minute origin story, where you came from, how you got to this point, just in the first couple of minutes?
Sure, thanks. Well, my story started really about 1999, 2000, where I had to decide on what career path I wanted to go. And I love helping people, but it started with someone telling me I couldn't do something, which I couldn't be a personal trainer because I didn't have the same physique. I wasn't 6 foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. And right away, I knew that was going to motivate me to do it. I went out and got my personal certification, and that was the beginning of developing into Coach Roz, the Motivator. 15, 16 years later now, we own 3 personal training studios with my business partner, Greg Califatic. We've trained all over the world, and we've had digital products, and we've also been a foremost expert on menopausal training for women who are entering into perimenopause and postmenopause. Our number one mission is really just to help people create the best version of themselves using exercise, diet, and stress reduction. That's what I get to do every single day. And by doing something over and over, you get better at it. So now I've been able to create the Kaizen Mastermind, which helps other personal trainers boot camp owners, and people who are just entering into the profession to really systemize their business and get it going without stress.
Excellent, Ross. So just see that there's a couple comments here, and I just wanted to address them before we get too far into it. Greg is saying he was having some issues on his phone and desktop, can't seem to get the volume to play. Wendy Zelmer joined us, and she can't get to play at all. I have both sound on both my computer and my phone. Greg indicated it's working now on his phone. So hopefully we got the techie issues sorted out for everybody. We were not having any problems on this end, so hopefully you were able to get those sorted out. So Roz, let's talk about your decision to start hosting live events. So what were some of the biggest reasons behind using this strategy, and what were you looking to accomplish by hosting a live event?
Well, John, I've hosted live events for my personal training studios for years, and what we've always used them for was lead generation. It's getting people in front of your message, and you're allowing you to show your authority through teaching. And so when I entered into the coaching space, I knew the fastest way for me to get some leverage and to get some acceleration was to host an event. Now, a lot of gurus were saying that this was not the best way to go, but I felt like I knew that the content that we deliver was going to be solid. I knew that I had a solid USP, which is going to make me unique within the market. I am someone who still owns my personal training studios. I still coach clients. So I'm not someone so far removed that I don't know what's going on currently in the industry and what's happening on the floor. So I felt by hosting an event, I'd be really positioned well to showcase what we know, what we've created, and how someone else can do exactly what we do if they decided that they would like to learn more about how we deal with our mastermind. So it was a perfect opportunity for us.
So for those who don't know, USP is unique selling proposition?
Yes.
Yeah. So you were actually using these prior just as a trainer yourself. So using them to get leads, people coming into your studio to actually use your personal training services. But then once you started to you reposition yourself as a coach and a mentor for people doing exactly what you do, because you are your best ideal client. You are
Absolutely.
a guy that has his own studio, that knows the struggles of what it takes to actually build a personal training studio. You've gone through the challenges, you've done the research, you've done all of the education, the training, invested in yourself and into coaches and mentors, so you know what it actually takes. So now you're just using the same system you use for your personal training studio. You're just doing the exact same thing, just with a different audience.
Correct.
So what were the biggest challenges that you faced when it came to planning this event versus maybe some of the other ones that you did for getting just training clients?
Wow, man. So, I mean, I got to tell you that anyone who's thinking about having an event and utilizing an event to build their authority, it's a great opportunity. But make sure you have enough time to truly just lay out the framework so that you have a game plan. Greg and myself, we're very ambitious. We had about 9 weeks. We made a decision. We took action. We believe in that. And that's one of our founding principles for success, is taking action on your goals. But what we found is that we didn't have enough lead up time to actually fill the room. So we didn't hit the number that we wanted to at first. But what we learned is that, this is all by trial by error. You have to learn, you need a little bit more lag time in order to have the numbers you want. And you got to realize that someone coming to an event, they have to invest time. They got to invest money on flights and hotels and food. So you really have to know how you're going to wrap that message up and hit the pain points that they're already having in their business, so that it's going to motivate them to take action on whether you're charging for the event or you're not. For my events for my personal training studio, I wasn't charging. For this, we were charging a small fee of $97, which we knew was a lost leader,
Yes.
which that means basically is we were going to wash it anyways. It didn't matter. It was just for someone to get committed and help us kind of balance out, the room and things like that.
And one of the things that one of my coaches has said over and over and over again, if people don't pay, they don't pay attention. So
Absolutely.
There's there is a place for that freebie thing, but just getting somebody to take that action and actually shelling out some money initially, even if it's just a small amount like $97, they're actually paying. So they are going to come, they are going to pay attention to. And there's that perceived value that they're getting something that actually has lots of value. as opposed to, just coming to a free event. So anybody and everyone will just come to the free event, even if they're not even in the industry.
Correct.
So Roz, for your event, you had about, I think it was 10 different speakers, not including yourself and your business partner, and they were all delivering on their area of expertise in your industry. They're all industry related. So how did you manage to get all those speakers to come to your event? And I'm assuming you got them to come there for free. And were they allowed to sell any of their own stuff?
So one of the ways that I got them is that I looked at, I wanted to make sure we had a well-balanced speaker list. And these speakers all were going to be able to deliver a message to my audience that was balanced. It wasn't all online, all offline, all sell, make money or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I reached out. I had a lot of relationships I truly believe in creating relationships in business. And so different events that I've gone to, masterminds that I've been a part of, I've collected names and I've kept contact with these people over the years. And I've always been a giver. I truly believe you got to give before you ask. And so I've actually, introduced people hundreds of times to different people, things like that. So I just reached out and said, hey, guys, I'd love for you to speak at my event. I'm hosting my first event if you're in town. And one of my good buddies, John Romanello, decided to come on board. He's a pretty big thing, in the fitness industry. Okay. So once I got him on board, it was really easy to reach out to a couple of the other speakers because I said, hey, you know what? I leveraged the fact that I already got John on board. I said, John's going to be speaking. I'd love for you to be a part of this event. And people were like, yeah, raising their hands. And we had actually people who reached out and said, I'd love to speak. And we didn't have room for that, but nice. That was really the key to once I got the speakers locked in, then we were able to kind of create the marketing materials and really start to promote the event.
Yeah, and definitely you can draw on their influence into the marketplace for helping fill your event as well.
Absolutely.
So what did the speakers get out of being on stage at your event? So how did it help them? How is it beneficial to them? And also can you just address sort of, I know that there's some people out there that are probably going to watch this, their thoughts on, they're the scarcity minded people. So why would you want people speaking at your event who are in the same industry, potentially targeting the same people? So gotcha. What did the speakers get out of coming to your event? How was it beneficial? And just address the scarcity minded people.
Cool. So the speakers, one of the things that I did for all the speakers is I reached out and said, hey, I'm going to have a professional camera crew there. And what we're going to do is we're going to videotape the entire thing, and you'll get a professional edited copy of your speech. So now they can use that for anything in their marketing. So that's a done for you thing. I mean, you're in business, yes. If they had to actually hire a video crew to come out and shoot them speaking, that's a lot of money. I was willing to invest that and write that off as kind of part of my expenses. So I'm sending that out to each of the speakers. In addition to that, it's all about reciprocity. And I just told them, I said, you get to get on the stage, you get to rock it out and leverage the fact that you're speaking and you're getting to build your brand as well. And I'm going to make sure to put you on all the marketing material, shout you out, cross promote. So you're going to really get a boost in your authority throughout that. And I did a little something extra is I got each and every, I don't know if you can see that there, each and every one of the speakers a nice little blade here as a gift. So I really do believe, and they had their own name on it. And I said, hey, this is for you. Thank you for speaking. I presented it to them in front of the room, and they loved it. And I honestly, I had people call me and say, I can't wait to do other events because I'm going to speak at that event. Now, for those who might have a scarcity mindset, here's the deal. I mean, we're in the business of, there's not enough. There's so many people in personal training. There's so many people coaching. Mm-hmm. I couldn't coach them all if I wanted to. Right. So I don't believe that there's competition. I believe in an abundance. And the people that are in my circle believe and see that as well. So I don't hang around with negative, people who are always fighting and thinking about everybody's their competition. One of my good friends is in this space, AJ Mirzad, and he actually spoke at my event, and I spoke at his first two events. So it's really about, one hand washes the other. And if you do that in this online space, you're going to see that your business is going to thrive because you're going to have more relationships that are built on a solid foundation.
No, I'm a firm believer in abundance as well. And there's enough business out there for everybody. And everyone comes at it with a very unique angle, their own sort of message and how they actually conduct their business. So no two people are going to be doing things exactly alike. No two people are going to attract, they may attract similar people, and they may even attract the same people, but there's typically enough business out there for everybody. So I am just like you, where it's an abundance-minded mentality. I never worry about the scarcity of, and there not being enough or having competition, because let's face it, competition builds business, helps build business. It helps makes us better in what we're doing. So let's talk. Let's really get into the importance of the message, Roz, when you actually started your marketing. So you came to the decision that you're actually going to put on an event. You lined up some guest speakers. So let's talk about the messaging that you actually created. So what approach did you take when you were crafting the message? How important do you feel the message is in setting up the sales funnel and the other marketing material?
Oh, the messaging was crucial. We understood right away, because of being in the business, that there were several pain points that personal trainers, boot camp owners, studio owners, and independent contractors were dealing with. One of them is understanding how to generate leads. So a lot of our stuff was focused around lead generation. I did several webinars specifically on Facebook, which got a lot of, every time I did a webinar, I actually got people to go to my page and sign up and become, and join and buy their ticket. Right. So that was one of the things. We really understood the market. And the market was simply, hey, are you struggling? Would you like some help with that? If you'd like some help with that, we're having a 2-day event. It's called Fitness Business Intensive, and it's designed to help you do A, B, and C. Click this link and you're going to get some more information. They go to my page. There's a video there that explains a little bit more about it. And it really breaks down, there's 4 S's that I teach. And it's very important: how to specialize, how to sell, how to systemize, so that you can soar your business. Now, the first thing is specialization, and that's what we were really diving into. So I wrote a few blog posts and really just kind of catered to, hey, you guys are being too much of a generalist. Most personal trainers try to be everything to everybody. Yes. And when they try to be everything to everybody, they wind up with nothing. They don't have the right ideal marketing. No one's attracted to them. And they're just kind of hoping and wishing and praying that someone's going to come and give them money. So we're going to teach you exactly a tried and true blueprint on how to do that. And that's what we did with our marketing.
So there's also, because I was on that page this morning and in preparing for the show, there was also, what is it, the five issues or 5 problems or 5 things that they're doing now that are costing them money? Or can you just explain?
Sure.
Because actually we're talking with the messaging, we're talking about copywriting here. So I just want to give people, let people know that copywriting is one of the biggest keys to your success when you're doing anything for your business or marketing your business, especially when you're trying to attract people to come to a paid event. So let's just talk a little bit more about the copywriting aspect when you created your sales funnel. So you talked about the pain points. Mm-hmm. Did you talk about their desired outcome or the benefits they would receive in order to by attending your event?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things we did is that we wanted to put a big promise out there. And that promise was, we're going to teach you how to generate $10,000 in reoccurring revenue or revenue into your business within a short period of time. We understood that if you start to install we had 9 different projects that we were going to go through, that if you install just 1 or 2 of them, you'd be able to regenerate at least $10,000 back into your business. That was one of the key things. And then, like you said, the 5 mistakes that you made. And I learned this from a mutual buddy of Andy and I. The mistakes are crucial. People want to avoid them because they'll do more to avoid pain than they will pleasure. So we wanted to share with them what those 5 mistakes were, and we knew that it would resonate with the ideal client or ticket purchaser.
So did you give the answer to the 5 mistakes? Is that what they get when they attend the event?
Yes, they got the answer to the 5 mistakes, but in addition to that, they got a complete system. The workbook itself, I could tell you that we could sell that workbook for probably $1,000 now online, because it had so many different blueprints and frameworks and templates and scripts. It really just was a full-on business, but we all know that you could give anybody the book. They have to be willing to do the work. So when they came to the event, we were going to walk them through that, and that's what we did. I mean, we had break, and every time we do a little bit, lecture a little bit, do a little bit, lecture a little bit, and it really worked out. That's why people love the event so much.
So it was like a workshop. When you guys got up to speak, you were doing workshops as opposed to just lecturing people or just giving a keynote speech.
Absolutely. It was all about, all right, let's take 30 seconds, write down your biggest intake or takeaway from this. Every section. And one of the things my mentor, Taki Moore, teaches is that every 7 minutes, if you're doing a live event, you want to have an interruption. That right. Interruption is to get some engagement with your audience. That keeps them engaged in the content that you're delivering so that they don't fall asleep and start to think about all the things that are going on in their mind, which we know because we have such a short attention span now with television and Wi-Fi and freaking Facebook. So it's crazy. It really worked really well. I think the content was well delivered and well accepted.
Yeah, and in preparation for the show, you see that I sent you a show flow with time frames, and those time frames are pretty close to the 7-minute segments when it comes to asking the questions. So what strategy do you use to promote the event for your ideal target market? So what did you use this time? How effective was it? Did you spend a lot of money? Could you just talk to us a little bit about the strategy?
Sure. So the strategy it was multiple poles in the water. One of the ones that we all know, Facebook. It's a beast. So we were able to target our ideal ticket purchaser to certain interests that they already had. Being that they might have liked a page, they had an interest in personal training, they lived in, and first we went wide, very broad, all of the United States. As we got closer to the date, we started to really narrow down our states to just New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Boston, just surrounding areas.
Right.
And what I can tell you guys is that working with Facebook, we spent a lot of money. I don't remember the exact number, but it was several $1,000s, and we did not get a huge ROI on that because of time frame which I mentioned earlier to John in our prep, which really was if you're going to use paid traffic and no one knows you in a space, just doing that is very dangerous unless you have a very big budget. And we understood our numbers as well because we have a back end. So we also did webinars, which was very effective because I utilized my personal house list, or what we call our list. Yeah. I utilized Facebook Lives, which promoted the actual webinar. And then I had some joint ventures where I told people, hey, I'm going to bring you on. You need to help promote this. In each of the webinars, we did about 3 webinars. We had several people. We had 25, 15, 12, not huge numbers, but just enough that we could actually get some ticket purchases from each of those. And then I had the content that I repurposed and was able to get the message out for the event even more. So my goal was to be omnipresent, to try to be as everywhere as possible. So every time someone went onto Facebook, they saw something about FBI Live, whether it's in their timeline or someone was sharing a link or someone was talking about the Facebook webinar coming up the night. So we really just focused on that.
So moving forward, so for your next event, say in 2017, what will you do differently? What kind of time frames would you assign to it? So just walk us through, the biggest takeaways from this event that you're going to implement into your next promotion.
Great question, John. So one of the key things is that we're going to have a lead up time. And this lead up time will probably be between, I'd say, 3 to 6 months of building our list. So creating a nice lead magnet with some pain points or a bribe that gets us to build a list. So then that list is several thousand people and then they get to know, love, and trust us through giving them emails and giving them content. So that when we decide what the date is and announce the date, I'd love to have the opportunity to do a pre-sale or an early bird sale. This allows you to use scarcity in your marketing. We weren't able to use scarcity in this one because we only had 9 weeks to put it together. When we announced it, it was about 7.5 weeks. So it wasn't like we really didn't do an early bird. Everyone's like, if I'm going to come, if I'm not, yeah. But that's what we would do. We're definitely going to do next in 2017. We're also going to do one-day events in different states. So this will allow us to build for a bigger event as a FBI Live 2017 happens. And we have a bigger goal for that as well.
Yeah, so that rolls out is more like the typical seminar strategy. I was involved in the real estate investing world, and my coach and mentor ran one of the largest real estate investing seminar businesses in the country. And that is a traditional seminar strategy where you go into a market, you may go in for a free preview, or maybe you're doing a 2 to 3 hour preview, maybe you're doing a free day preview or a very low cost preview, all designed to, and you'll structure those, months before the event. and you'll just go from state to city to city to city, and you'll just put those on with the sole purpose of attracting more attention and getting people to sign up for your weekend event.
Yes.
So that's a typical seminar strategy that's been used and proven over time. So there was a couple of comments here. Greg had mentioned, now events can be very expensive depending upon the setup. How do you get a return on investment with a pitch-free event?
Sure. So the way we were able to get an ROI on this event was that we have our mastermind, which is called the Kaizen Mastermind, and is the done-for-you marketing and product that you were talking about. And one of the things is that the speakers are coming to you volunteering their time, but they're getting something else in return, which is really crucial. And it's that connections. It's bringing them out to dinner. It's introducing them to other thought leaders. Right. So they're getting a value from that. And the audience is going to have the opportunity to get help with the number one thing that they came there with in the first point. They were struggling. They needed some clarity and direction. That's what we provide for them in the Done For You Mastermind. So it makes sense for them to want to go forward. Now, you got to know your numbers. Here's the key. We understood how many we knew. We knew how many people we needed to sign up to break even. We knew where we wanted to be to hit our goal. And that was crucial in how much we could actually spend in our marketing and putting on the event.
Excellent. So how hard was it to get people into the event? I believe that you were charging $97. So what was the strategy and how you set the $97 price point? What was the number that you were looking to hit, and how many did you actually get to show up?
So we were originally looking for 50. We wound up with 21. And the reason we selected $97 was we wanted to, like you said, it was just enough to get a commitment out of them. We understood that our mastermind and what we were charging for that would facilitate the ROI as long as we hit our minimum number. Now, if we would have hit 30 people in the room, the numbers really kind of play with is if you get 30, you're going to get anywhere between 6 and 10% to take you up on that offer. And that's what my goal was. And we pretty much, the numbers lied right about there. I mean, where we at the end of the day. And as the more people you get, you just have to play with those numbers. Now, going forward for a bigger event, we're probably going to start out with the $197 ticket, and then we'll have the early bird. So you'll get it at $97, and as we get closer to the event and closer to selling the event out, we'll go to that $197. And people always make a decision last minute. A lot of people are those people who don't want to get off the fence. They get shot from both sides. That's when they're going to have to pay more to participate.
Excellent. So walk me through structuring the 2 days with all the speakers. So how did you determine who was going to speak when, and how you determined when you were going to speak, and when you were going to start talking about the mastermind and enrolling in the mastermind?
Oh, yeah, this is fun. Well, this is like basically I just did table settings for my wedding, John. And I can tell you that was a process because you just didn't want to put the wrong people at the wrong time and things like that. But with the event, what I wanted to do is I knew all the speakers. I knew all their content. I had them give me a title of their presentation in advance, so that I kind of knew exactly what we were dealing with. Like Jared DeCarmine was talking about how to write copy. I knew that AJ Mirzar was going to talk about online coaching. So I wasn't going to put his online coaching right before my pitch. Just doesn't make sense. It's going to be very confusing if I'm talking about how to systemize your offline business. Now here comes a new shiny object. Yeah. So you really got to understand who you have in the room that are your speakers and where you want to position them. And then myself and Greg, had 9 different full-on presentations throughout the 2 days. So we knew that we had to spread this through. And then the key to this is that we called it our flight plan, our 90-day flight plan. So each of the projects led to the conclusion of this 90-day flight plan, which was a big sheet of paper and a map that mapped out the 90 days that they would do from leaving this event. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to get something, whether they joined or not. They were going to have clarity and direction. And then we actually pitched right before lunch on the second day, which was Saturday. And why did we do that? Because we had a unique selling way that we wanted to do our pitch. We didn't want to say that all the speakers, they couldn't pitch, and then we would pitch. We decided to do it. Here's what we're going to do. If you want to stay, we're going to clear the room real quick. Come back. I'm going to host lunch. You guys can have lunch on me and hear about Kaizen Mastermind. and it worked out really well. They wanted, a lot of people stayed, wanted to hear, they were hearing about it. And I mean, just because we're all talking about authority marketing here on this show, the bottom line is I had it sprinkled throughout the event. I had posters with Kaizen. I had a banner with Kaizen. On the second day, here's a tip, guys. On the second day, we had a television that just said Kaizen Mastermind, which we did not have day one. So it was a different set change. That's a little neurolinguistics for you guys if you're not familiar with that. And it really kind of just brought everything together for us. And we had, I mean, trust me, it didn't go down as flawless as I did in my planning, but it did go well. And I would do it again and again and get better each time.
Well, that's the key to, one of the keys to when you're selling from stage, whether it be, a 30-minute talk or whether it be a 2-day event, is that you need to seed constantly throughout the talk, throughout the event, plant those seeds as to what the offer is going to be. So what they need to have to accomplish their goal. So you're just planting those seeds throughout the talk, throughout the event, having images on the wall, having the mastermind on the TV, and it just, it subtly sinks into their mind so that when you're actually presenting them with the opportunity, it's not all of a sudden in their face. It's like, oh yeah, they've talked, I heard about this over the last couple of days. It's something I might be interested. So what of the 21 that attended, how many people stayed for your lunch?
Out of the 21 that stayed, that came in, we had 16.
Wow, that's good. And were you able to close 10%?
Yes, absolutely. We had just a little over that, and we're working with. We did a payment plan, so I'll know probably in the next 6 weeks or so if everyone makes it through. That's always the case when you do a payment plan. Will someone follow through? But we were able to hit the between 6 and 10%, which we were ecstatic about.
Excellent. So Raj, during the event, because I've been following you since we connected, I watched that you were posting some Facebook Live videos while you were at the event. And this was actually taking place. So I was going to ask you if you videotaped it, but you did videotape it. Now, did you get any video testimonial from the attendees who actually attended the event? During the event, did you ask the attendees to do any social posts? And is there a plan of using that footage in your next promotion?
100%, all of those.
Okay.
So I think you just like check. For one, we definitely did testimonials at the end of the event, which we had everybody do, and we just had to ask them. We set the camera up, and you just watch people walk in front of the camera, which was great. We didn't have to prompt them or anything like that. Throughout, we are currently actually having to edit it down now to a highlight video of some of the coolest things that happened. Like I said, I'm chopping each of the speakers, their speeches up and delivering that to them as my gift to them, professionally edited video. And then, and doing the lives was great because I wanted the Facebook and our online community, those who couldn't make it to the event, I wanted them to know and see a little bit, but I did not do it so that I wasn't going to showcase what other people had paid for.
Right.
I wasn't going to do that, but I wanted them to see what they were missing. And one of my talks that I was doing was on, how do you market and utilize Facebook Live. And we had someone who was really challenged. And one of the things that I truly believe in is the hell with just talking about it. Why don't we just do it? And so I was able to just turn my phone on, show her exactly how to go live, how to set up a framework, the framework that I personally use so that I can make sure that I'm delivering good content, but I'm also making sure that there's a CTA, which is a call to action. I'm seeding some type of offer in my marketing. And those who are watching this, who are clients, don't hate me in the morning because it's all about preparation. Going out there and believing that you can wing it is the worst thing you can do if you're truly a professional and not an amateur.
Exactly. So do you plan on using a lot more Facebook Live videos moving forward into getting ready for the next event? And I know that you're doing, little bits and pieces here and there. Is there any plans? I know you're doing a podcast show. Is there any plans of moving the podcast show, streaming it live on Facebook at the same time? So how do you see using Facebook Live moving forward? Because it's such a big platform right now. There's Facebook's giving a lot of attention to it. So how do you see it moving forward for your future events?
Man, you're in my head, John. I mean, you're telling all my secrets out here. I can tell you that, yes, 100%. We are December 5th. I start my own Facebook Live show, which will be, it's all about Mondays. It's called Crush It Mondays with Coach Roz, the Motivator. Why? Because Mondays, people fear it. They think that Mondays is that jewelry day after the weekend and they're still coming on that low. Well, I want to pump them up, bring them up to the level of 10 so that they can thrive, not just survive.
Right.
And what I can tell you is that Facebook Live is definitely something that we're going to implement into our business. Now, I like my podcast because the podcast is audio and it's a different audience. So there's people who are commuters. There are people who like to listen to podcasts in their car. I hope you're not watching us live in your car. And then the Facebook is a different online. So I have a whole bunch of cool stuff that just very similar to you. I'm not going to go as technical because I just like to bring it raw and real.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good time. You know, I'm looking forward to utilizing it throughout the rest of this year and going into 2017 very aggressively.
Yeah, so one of the strategies I'm actually using for this show, which you may want to adopt, feel free, is that this show is just the catalyst for creating content. So from this show, it all gets repurposed. So I get it transcribed, I get it edited to a video podcast, I pull the audio out, get it turned into an audio podcast, and I create video clips from it, and then I create social posts around all of that stuff. And then I distribute it and spend time engaging on all of that stuff. So it just enables you to actually create the content and then from that repurpose a lot of it. So if you're going to do Facebook Live, then there's the opportunity of just extracting the audio and getting it edited for some of your future podcasts. When maybe you don't have something prepared, you can have some backup plans, moving forward.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I believe in the whole syndicating your content. So it's something that we're going to be doing, taking the guests and doing a lot of the things. Right now, so a lot of the audios, anytime I do an interview or I do a personal video,
right,
we take that and we transcribe that or caption it because we know that a lot of people, especially if you're posting on Facebook, they're watching on their mobiles. And if you're watching on your mobiles, there's usually no sound because they're at work or somewhere they can't listen.
Right.
So you want to make sure you caption it. So these are just some of the things that we're doing to kind of just build authority. Being kind of new to the coaching space and personal training, we're doing a lot of what you're saying, building that content, showcasing our authority, more or less. But I'm not a newbie to the game because for 15 years, it's all I've been doing is learning how to market, how to sell, and how to thrive in the fitness industry.
Yeah, exactly. And that was one of the reasons why I started this show as well. Is I was in the business consulting space, moved into the real estate investing space, then was real estate investing coach, working with real estate investors who are actually still entrepreneurs. So I'm still doing the exact same thing, just a different target market. Right. And I'm just transitioning back into what I was originally doing before, which is entrepreneurs, because I get more for me, I enjoy helping people grow their businesses. So I don't want to stick to one specific business. I want, to work with people in other businesses. But it's the same thing. You're moving from one thing to something else. You need to reintroduce yourself to the market or position yourself slightly different. And that was the purpose of doing this whole show and building your authority and using all of these platforms and this medium as well. So what were your biggest takeaways from hosting this event, and what are you going to do differently moving forward?
Great question. So the biggest takeaway is, and I've kind of shared it before, is I want to have a much longer build-up time so that we could really dive deeper into what you were saying is the message and make sure we're hitting the right people. Two, we want to make sure that we're going to have enough time to promote it. So we're going to sprinkle in those small one-day events, get that information, get that feedback. And I would definitely I want to make sure I'm going to do less speakers. That's for sure. Okay. My biggest takeaway was having 9 speakers outside of Greg and myself. It definitely gave a little bit of confusion because a lot of stuff was reiterated. And then some of it was just way off. And we don't want that. So, I mean, Greg and I know that we can deliver the content. We have the presentations now. So all we have to do is kind of go with it again and kind of set it and repeat it again. So that was really it. I mean, and here's the number one thing. If you're looking to do an event to build your authority, just do it. Don't be afraid. Get off the fence. It's what we did, and we learned a lot. And the only way you can learn is by doing it. You can't learn by sitting on the sideline thinking about it.
No, you can't be afraid to fail.
Exactly.
Because that's where you're going to learn from your mistakes or learn what to do differently. You just can't be afraid to fail. So what are 3 tips that you would give somebody who is looking to start their first event? What are the 3 main tips that you would give somebody who is, say, looking to host something in the first quarter of 2017?
Great question. First thing, get yourself either whatever device or you use to brainstorm. I love a whiteboard. So get yourself a whiteboard and actually, what is the outcome that you want to give your end user, your ticket purchaser? That's what you want to come up with first. That's your hook. Once you have that, make sure that that hook has a niche. So who is specifically going to solve their pain? It's basically, if there's a thorn in their ass, you want to make sure that your event is pulling the thorn out. Then the next thing you want to do is look at your time frame. Make sure you have enough time to build up enough buzz around your event that you can actually fulfill on. And then I would say make sure you have a budget, because that's crucial. No matter what you do, Murphy's Law is going to creep in. And we were over budget, and we didn't know how much we should be investing. And we wanted our event to be an experience. So we offered tea and coffee and protein bars, but know what you can invest in it so that you can give a little bit higher end and don't go bottom of the barrel. That's one of the things. Do your research so that you can find the location that's going to be accessible to your ticket holders or your guests. That's very important. We found a place that was easily in and out of Manhattan and near the airports. Very important.
Yeah, when you have people flying in from all over the country or from different cities, you definitely want to have it quick and easy to the airport. You know, a lot of times people, they don't like to drive too far, you know, especially I can't imagine in New York, people wanting to drive, you know, right downtown Manhattan or downtown New York to come to an event. So, you know, as close to the airport as possible, but within walking distance of a lot of sort of restaurants and places for people to go, you know, in the evening if they want to mingle or whatever. So those are great tips, and I appreciate that, Roz. That's all the time that we have for today's show, and I personally want to thank you for being on the show and sharing with the audience, you know, your very first event and what you learned from it, and helping the audience if they want to put an event on, sort of what steps that they need to take. What I'll do is I'll post all your contact information into the show comments, and as well as once this gets published up to the website, we'll put all the information in the show notes as well. So anyone that wants to connect with you later on down the road that might be watching a replay will be able to connect with you for either more information or maybe to attend one of your events. So everyone, just give Roz some love by hitting that like button, love button, and definitely be sure to share this on your Facebook page with all your friends and on your business page. So Roz, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show, and I look forward to catching up with you again in the near future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, John. You have a great day.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
You too. Well, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step one to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint coaching program or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.